I spent 30 years planning for retirement. Turns out, I forgot to plan for my marriage. 3 weeks after I retired, my wife was folding towels in the laundry room. She didn't even look up. She just said, "I think we need a little space." I laughed. I honestly thought she was kidding. She didn't laugh back. That was the first time it hit me that we'd spent years planning our money, but never planned what life would actually look like once we had all that time together. My name's Frank. I'm 60 years old. I retired early from a construction estimating job. 32 years with the same company. I wasn't forced out. I wasn't burned out. I just reached the number I'd been working toward for years. Mortgage paid, retirement account healthy, no debt. Everything was exactly where I wanted it. Or so I thought. My wife, Linda, and I have been married for 35 years. We have 2 daughters. They're both grown now. One lives in Colorado, the other about 40 minutes away. We're grandparents. Life looked pretty good on paper. And for a long time, I figured paper was enough. Retirement had become my hobby long before it became my reality. I tracked investments, updated spreadsheets, read articles, calculated how much we'd spend on groceries, gas, insurance. I even figured out how many fishing trips I could take every year without touching our emergency fund. Linda used to smile when she'd see me staring at another spreadsheet. "You planning our future again?" "Just making sure we're ready." She'd nod. "Good." Looking back, I don't remember ever asking what she wanted retirement to look like. I just figured we wanted the same thing. The morning after my last day at work felt wonderful. No alarm clock, no steel-toe boots waiting by the back door. I poured coffee into my favorite mug, walked out onto the porch. The sun was just coming up. I remember thinking, I've earned this. The first week felt like a vacation. The second week almost did too. By the third, something had changed. I just couldn't put my finger on it. Linda started leaving the house more often. She'd say, "I'm running to the store." 3 hours later, she'd come home with 1 grocery bag. Another day she'd say, "I've got book club." Then she'd volunteer at the food bank. She had lunch with an old friend. She visited the library. There always seemed to be somewhere she needed to be. I figured retirement would mean we'd spend more time together. Instead, I seemed to be seeing less of her. One morning, I looked up from the newspaper and said, "You're busy lately." She smiled politely. "I've always been busy." I laughed. "No, I mean lately." She folded her reading glasses and looked at me. "No, Frank, I've always been busy." Then she picked up her purse and walked out the front door. I sat there for a while, trying to figure out what she'd meant. I couldn't. Not yet. A few days later, I opened the garage to organize my fishing gear. I'd been talking about doing it for years. Halfway through sorting tackle boxes, I realized I wasn't really interested. I was just trying to fill another afternoon. I closed the lid, went back inside. The house was quiet, too quiet. Linda still wasn't home. For the first time since retiring, I wondered if I'd planned for the wrong things. A week later, we were folding laundry together. The television was off. The dryer hummed in the next room. Neither of us had much to say. Linda folded a towel, smoothed it with both hands. Then she took a slow breath. "I think we need some space." I looked up. "What do you mean?" She kept folding. "I don't know. I just need a little room." I forced a smile. "Room from what?" She finally looked at me. "From you." The words landed harder than I expected. I stared down at the towel in my hands. Are you leaving? She shook her head. No. Another pause. I just don't know how to breathe with you home all day. Neither of us spoke. She looked embarrassed for saying it. I felt embarrassed for making her say it. There wasn't any shouting, no accusations. Somehow, that made it hurt even more. The next morning, I got into my truck without really knowing where I was going. I drove past the hardware store, past my old office, past the lake where I'd planned to spend half my retirement. Instead, I pulled into a little diner I'd been driving past for years. I'd never stopped there before. I ordered coffee, nothing else. Not because I wasn't hungry. I just needed somewhere to sit. The waitress looked about my age, maybe a little older. She topped off my coffee and smiled. You look lost. I laughed quietly. Do I? A little. I looked out the window. I just retired. She smiled like she'd heard that sentence before. Happens more than you'd think. I looked back at her. What does? She shrugged. Men spend 40 years figuring out how to go to work. Then one morning, they don't know where to go. She walked away before I could answer. I sat there for another 20 minutes, thinking. On the drive home, little things started coming back to me. Linda's Thursday book club, her Tuesday volunteer shift, Saturday morning walks with the neighbor, coffee every other Wednesday with an old friend. I knew all those things existed. I just never paid much attention to them. While I was building a career, she'd been building a life, friends, routines, places that belonged to her. I had retired. She hadn't, not really. Without realizing it, I'd stepped into a life she'd already built while I was busy building my career. That thought stayed with me all afternoon. That evening, I found her watering flowers on the back patio. Normally, I would have started explaining my day. Instead, I asked, "Can I ask you something?" She nodded. "What does a normal Tuesday look like for you?" She looked surprised. Then she smiled. "A normal Tuesday?" "Yeah." She set the watering can down. "Well, I usually meet Carol for coffee. Then I stop by the library. I volunteer for a couple of hours. If the weather's nice, I walk through the park before I come home." I listened, didn't interrupt, didn't offer suggestions, didn't tell her what I thought we should be doing instead. When she finished, she looked at me. "You've never asked me that before." She wasn't angry. She was just telling the truth. I nodded. "I know." The following Monday, I called an old co-worker. "You still having breakfast with the guys?" He laughed. "Every Monday." "You coming?" I was hoping I could. About time. So I did. The next week, I dusted off my fishing rods and spent Wednesday morning at the lake. The week after that, I signed up to help at the local food bank on Thursdays. None of it was exciting. None of it changed my life overnight. But when I came home, I actually had something to talk about. So did Linda. Little by little, the house stopped feeling crowded. Not because we spent less time together, because we stopped expecting the other person to fill every empty hour. A few months passed, not all at once, just one ordinary week after another. Monday breakfasts with the guys from work, Wednesday mornings at the lake, Thursday afternoons helping sort canned food and donated clothes at the food bank. None of it was glamorous, but every day had somewhere to start and somewhere to end. One evening, Linda asked, "How was breakfast?" I smiled. "You remember Carl, the guy who always forgot his lunch?" She laughed. "The one who microwaved fish in the office?" "That's him." He still does things like that. Worse. She laughed again, a real laugh this time. I realized something. For weeks, we hadn't talked much because neither of us had anything new to bring home. Now we did. One Saturday, we cleaned out the hall closet, the kind of job we'd been putting off for years. I found an old 3-ring binder. Across the front, in black marker, I'd written, "Retirement Plan." I flipped through the pages, investment charts, monthly budgets, vacation ideas, tax notes. Every page was neat. Every number made sense. Linda looked over my shoulder. "You spent a lot of time on that." "I sure did." She smiled. "You were ready to stop working." She paused. "You just weren't ready to start living differently." I closed the binder. She wasn't criticizing me. She was just saying something I'd finally become ready to hear. Summer turned into fall. One evening, we were sitting on the back porch. The air had cooled down. Somebody nearby was grilling dinner. We watched the sun disappear behind the trees. Linda reached over and took my hand. You know, I was scared. I looked at her. Of what? That retirement was going to make us strangers. I thought about that, then nodded. I almost let it. She squeezed my hand. But you didn't. Neither of us spoke for a while. We didn't need to. The silence felt different now. Not empty, comfortable. Later that night, I walked into my little home office. The retirement binder was still sitting on the desk. I opened the bottom drawer, where I'd kept it for years. Then I picked up a small spiral notebook I'd started using a few weeks earlier. There weren't any spreadsheets inside, no percentages, no calculations, just handwritten notes. Breakfast with Jim, Volunteer Thursday, Call Emily, Dinner with Linda, Fishing Wednesday. Simple things, the kind of things I'd spent 30 years believing would somehow take care of themselves. I set the retirement binder underneath the notebook, closed the drawer, turned off the office light. When I walked into the living room, Linda was sitting on the couch with 2 cups of tea. She handed one to me. I sat beside her. Neither of us talked about tomorrow. For the first time, we didn't need a plan for every minute of it. I thought retiring early meant getting my time back. Looking back, it was never about having more time. It was about finally learning how to share it.